Our next Boolean object, let's start with a cube. We'll leave it at this default size and then add a cylinder. Grab the top orange dot and extend that out. And then let's make a copy of that. I'm going to hold down my control key and drag and release. And on that new cylinder, come down here and flip it in the -X direction. And let's do one more. Make a copy of that. Hold down control and drag. And flip that in the -Z direction. So I've got 3 cylinders passing through this cube. If I select these 3 cylinders and group them together, put them in a boole, let's see what happens. I'll select these 2 objects, drag them so they are children of the boole, and I didn't want it to look like that. So one way you can fix that is select your second object and drag it to first place like that. And here's my result. I wanted everything to be hollowed out in the middle, but it turns out that when you have multiple 3D solids that intersect one another, like this, these 3 cylinders pass through each other and intersect, you're going to get some errors when you use the boole command. So we have to go backwards. I'm going to hit Control Z, and why don't you do the same until you see your 3 cylinders like this and your cube. What we have to do is union these using the boole command. We have to join them so that they're one object, and I'll walk you through it. I'll start by adding a boole. I will put 2 cylinders in there because we can only do 2 at a time. I'm going to click the boole and set it to A union B. And then, just to keep track of what I'm doing, I'm going to double click on that and name it Union 1. Next, let's close the boole. And I'm going to do another boole operation with this cylinder and this boole. So let's go here, choose another boole, drag union 1, my 2 cylinders are in there unioned together, and let's put cylinder 2 in there. Click on this boole and set it to A union B. And things are starting to get a little bit messy, but I'm going to close this boole here and name it cylinders. And now let's add a boole. I'm going to drag my cylinders, which have been unioned together 2 at a time, 2 objects at a time, and my cube. And now this behaves the way I want it to. I want it to be hollowed out. There's a couple more things before we finish this design. Go ahead and add a sphere. And make the radius of the sphere a little bit bigger. Let's go, let's leave a little bit. So how about set it to 106. Close this boole. Bring in another boole. Set your children. And I want this boole first. And now we've got a rounded out look inside of there. And let's do one more thing before we call it good. Close this boole. Add another sphere. Drag your radius slider till it says 158. And we're going to use this sphere to knock off these corners. And let's do that with another boole. It can be helpful if you rename these as you go, but there's my new boole. I'm going to drag that as child number 1 and that is child number 2. Oh, no, I've got to reverse it. Let's put the sphere first. So click your Boole. Choose A, intersect B. And make sure your sphere is first and your Boole is second. And let's save that as Cube Design 1. Next, let's say you are going to make a castle and you want a certain type of arch door to be cut through the castle wall. Well, I know from experience that I could use a rectangle and a circle, and if I drag that circle up here, if I can somehow combine those two splines into one shape, I have got the arch shape that I am looking for. Turns out there are some Boole tools for the splines. It's not this one. You have to go to your spline menu. Make sure first that both of your splines are highlighted. Go to spline, Boole commands, and you're going to see pretty much the same thing. This is for 2-dimensional instead of 3-dimensional objects. So let's go spline union. And that's all it takes to turn that spline into one continuous spline. Let's go ahead and extrude that. And I know it's a little imperfect, but that's okay. We're just going to make this the door shape. Next, I'll throw in a cube. This is going to be my wall. And then I'll go to the extrude that I made and rotate that. Hold down my shift key and it snaps every 5 degrees. Rotate it to 90. And I need to make it a little thicker. Let's go to the extrude and turn up the offset. And I just need to move it. And then once you get up to this point, hit File, Save, because we're going to name this Doorway. I'm going to show you a problem that is going to happen to you sometimes unless you know what to do. So first I'm going to go ahead and Boole these two objects. And we got a nice doorway there. And then I'm going to go a step further. So go ahead and follow along with me. I'm going to copy this extrude. This is the doorway. In fact, I think I'll just name that doorway to make it less confusing. Okay, select it, hold down Control, drag. So now I've got a second doorway. I'm going to make this doorway just a little bit bigger. So I'll hit the scale tool. And don't drag the axes, don't touch those, just come over here and drag in your screen and make it a little bit bigger than it used to be. Switch to your move tool, and I just want to punch into the wall just a little bit. Okay, let's come over here and shrink down that Boole. I would like to now Boole these two together. And that's what I was going for. I just wanted that second cut out there to make the doorway look a little more fancy. Now here's the problem I want to show you. If you want to edit this further, you have to convert it into a polygon object. So if I select everything that I've ended up with here, right click and choose Connect Objects and Delete. That takes every bool that I've done, it converts it to a polygon object, it connects them all together, and it deletes my original stuff. If I now go in and edit this, so now that it's an editable object, I can go to polygon mode, I can go to edge mode. But if I go to polygon mode, let's go to edge mode and select this edge right here. This is the problem. It's not connecting, it's leaving a hole there. Like if I punch in, it's not taking this edge in with it. Things are not connected. So to avoid that problem, if you're going to make objects and then you're going to go in and edit it further, let's go backwards. I'm going to hit Control Z. You have to, on all of your bools, so on this bool, click this box that says Create Single Object. I would always leave it on high quality. On this bool, same thing, Create Single Object. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Like, whoops, let's reverse those two. Now this is back where I was before. If I select it, right click and choose Connect Objects and Delete, go to edge mode, select an edge, now the whole 3D model behaves as one connected object. You know, if you pull things too far, you might get some wonky problems, but that is the magic little button to click if you want to be able to edit your bool object further and not have it break apart. Go ahead and save this project. Please pull out your edge like that to show me that it's connected, and save this project. We've already named it Doorway. Your last challenges for bool is I would like you to please make these two objects. Please make this and this stair-shaped object. Any way that you know how to do it, but use bool as part of the process.